Good morning and welcome back to Morning at NTV, and we are on the hashtag Morning at NTV on Twitter. So let's engage, let's do this together, let's have a conversation going. And we are counting down to the government giving us its national budget for 2018-2019. And since last week we've been doing a budget review for the different sectors, and today we'll be engaging you on the health sector. Precisely. And in studio, we have Dr. Diana Atwine, who is the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Health. Welcome to studio.
Thank you, listeners, and thank you for welcoming me here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, today we'll be talking about something that is close to you and what you're engaged in on a day-to-day basis, the health sector. In the budget, 2017-2018 budget, the government actually gave the health ministry 1.8 trillion shillings.
Yes.
What has that been for you? We've been having ministries that came on and said, this is the budget you were given. We are still struggling because it was not sufficient. In your case, was it sufficient?
Of course, the budget that we have is not sufficient, because, as you know, there was a lot of capital development, and that is still continuing. But still, we still have a lot of work to be done. So we can't say that we have enough. And we're able to use that 1.8 to achieve whatever we achieved, because 74% was salary. About 20% was PHC, primary health care.
Yes.
This one now involves the money that goes to the districts, to all the facilities, together with the regional referral hospitals and the national referral hospitals. Then 4% went to capital development. So you can see that even the portion of the capital development is still small. That's why we still have a big gap in terms of equipping, in terms of expansion of our facilities, and so. But I'm glad that government over time has been also increasing, and. For example, this coming year, we are going to have 2.1 trillion.
Okay.
And of this, 80% is going to go to salary. As you know, the government enhanced the salary.
Yes.
For all health workers, from senior people to the nurses.
So it's going to cut across
Yes.
all the health workers in Uganda.
Yes.
We've been having that same discussion about, and actually last week, Museveni, Janet, the madam to our president, actually came out and gave a warning to the public health practitioners and saying, in case you are reported to have mistreated a patient, then we will take you in. We will deal with you accordingly. And I totally agree, because this is an issue we've been facing. Actually, many people shy away from getting into public health institutions because they are afraid they're going to be mistreated. They say that the health workers are rude and all that. What is the ministry doing about it?
But to the contrary, about 60% of our population access health care in our public facilities.
Yes.
And if you look at the statistics of the people, for example, who go to Mulago and get treated, despite the fact that it is still scattered, still we see over 20,000 people who get there and are treated and they go home. Of course, bad news is the news. Good news is not news. Many health workers are there, they are working. Of course, we have those bad elements. We still have a very weak regulation, because there must be a mechanism that helps us to stick to our professionalism and ethics. And so when you say that many people feel that we are not doing enough, or our attitude, yes, but not all. Many doctors, many nurses do the work. Actually, some of those people out there are heroes. when you go to some of those facilities, they're amazing. They are just amazing. But of course, when a few people come out and they do those bad things,
yes,
definitely we must take charge. We must discipline them, because any society, you must have do's and don'ts.
Yes.
So I agree with you. Anybody who does not uphold his or her ethical standards, then we must hold them accountable.
So you actually hold them accountable to all this?
We still have that weakness in doing that.
Yes.
It's not only in health, as you know,
yes,
even in other sectors. We have seen indiscipline. But we need to really to strengthen that arm of regulation, that when you do something that is not right, you must be held accountable.
Correct.
Because that's the society. Okay. Even God knew. God knew that the human beings would make mistakes, and that's why he said the laws, you know, 10 commandments, do's, and don'ts.
Yes.
So it is natural. So we need to hold that.
All right. I need to link to Flavia before we come back, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the 74% that was actually allocated for salaries and how that has actually trickled down. I have Flavia on standby, who will be engaging the executive director of KCCA, Jennifer Musisi, on the new road that is going to be launched today. Flavia?
Say something. Talk.
Good morning.
Good morning, Flavia.
You're watching Morning at NTV, and I'm going through some very interesting facts. In 2040, the World Bank is putting us to be 10 million in Kampala city alone. We are at KCCA, and I'm going to have an interesting guest in this car, because we're driving to a very, very, very special project. On our way there, we'll see some very special projects that have already been done. On my way to work this morning, I was just wondering, looking at the lights and thinking, there's a point where Kampala Capital City Authority was putting those lights there, and very smart Ugandans thought, why not remove the bulb and leave the entire structure there? But I've been told it's even worse. They got to a point of removing cables from the ground. So we're at that point where we're not part of this plan. KCCA has a plan to make our city, you know, developed, a better city, but we're not in sync with the plans of actually having our city look wonderful. So 10 million people in the city alone for 2040, and I think we might even get there before 2040, to be honest. So what are we doing in Kampala? I was looking at this. It says we provide 70% of Uganda's GDP. Kampala alone, 70% of Uganda's GDP, which means a lot of things have to come and play. Waste management, the revenues that are collected, people have to pay certain taxes, because there's a question of funding, and I'm actually looking forward to talk about this. Where is KCCA getting its funding? Are we looking to have a more sustainable solution in how we're funding our city, or, you know, parts of our cities? I know at some point they said, are we going to ever become a smart city, where first of all you have access from one area to another, access from one service to another? For example, you can walk out of your office building, and a few meters away you can access a hospital should you be sick. You can access a school for your children, so you don't have to drive miles and miles to pick your children from school. A point where you can access data connection, so you can actually work on your computers, on your phone, and access information. A point where you can access things like different services, for example, supermarkets, everything around you. Are we on course to have a smart city where access to everything is within our reach? Are we there yet? Maybe not. But so far you've driven around, you've looked at a few roads, you're very proud of KCCA saying the roads look great, the roads are done well, there's lighting on the streets, there's traffic lights. I don't know how much we can thank KCCA for this, but another thing that I noticed is the solar panels on some of our traffic lights. And I guess that's great, because climate, we've got the environment, we've got solutions to lighting, and those are all for us to be sustainable eventually as a city. So things like that. And there's a talk about Chitezi being a hub for actually us having electricity in the city. We'll also discuss that. And if you haven't already figured out, I'm having my special guest as the executive director of Kampala Capital City Authority, Mchala Jennifer Musisi. Some of you ask questions like, let's talk about waste management. Our city is not clean. Probably not the entire city, but there are parts of the city that are not clean. Who's in charge of that? Where's the missing gap? I mean, KCCA put a law to actually manage taxi drivers and operators, and they said because of congestion. We're in a city where you can't get from one place to another efficiently. If you have a meeting at 8 and you don't set on the road by 6:30, you're in trouble. So why is it taking us longer to get from one point to another? congestion in the city from borders, we have taxis. But the Itoda managers came out to say that, listen, KCCA is working, the ministry is working. They're just not aligning. So I look forward to asking that question. Why isn't the ministry listening to KCCA? Why isn't KCCA listening to the ministry? Where is the gap in communication for us to receive efficient services from both parties? Because if you have a law against taxis, if you have a law for taxis by 3 different parties, who are they listening to? Where is the confusion? And in terms of waste management as well, we know things like Chirudu Hospital, because Mulago was under refurbishments and development. Many people were transferred to Chirudu, and you saw the issues there. Waste management, they're saying it's a hospital and it's not clean. Sanitation is a problem, so you're having more patients going to come in because of health issues. But there's also Makerere University, which is one of the projects that, from what I am told, was a swap. So we'll find out the details about that. But if you've gone to Makerere University recently, prestigious university, you found that at the entrance is a fabulous, development there. It's a wider road because they're trying to do that, widen the city roads so you can have better access as you go through the cities. And we'll talk about that Makerere project. Later on, just to get you to understand where we're going to end up, we'll be having a development project, Bakuli Nankulabe Kasubi Road. Is completed. Yes, if you have been around there this morning or you've been passing there and seeing the construction work and you knew that the phases were complete. So today we'll be launching the Bakuli Nankulabe Kasubi Road. But on our way there, I'm hoping to, that's why you see me near a car, I'm hoping to drive with the Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority. I don't know if many of you can brag about this, but today I intend to brag about this. I'll be having a ride at a convoy. Yeah, it's not going to be 111. No. It's a convoy with the Kampala Capital City Authority Executive Director Jennifer Musisi. So listen, I have my access to the internet. So feel free to ask any questions. We're using the hashtag morning@NTV. As your questions come in, I'll be firing them to her. Of course, we'll be having a chat about anything and everything. October is a hub for the Kampala City Carnival. And she said, this is a chance for Ugandans, the layman, to earn money. Bring your products, sell them, and for just that one day, have 0 restrictions, which brings me to the vendors. That's when we hosted you and asked you about your biggest issues to do with KCCA. You said, Bananga bakazi kungudo, abasajja batunde bintu kungudo, mubakwata bubi. How are we going to manage this? But there's been a discussion about street vendors. If we're going to eventually have a better city, you are not supposed to have these people on the streets. You're supposed to find them hubs of where they can operate, whether it's markets. Why are these markets being constructed? Why are they not going there? Where's the gap in information? All of that as we go to a better city. Today, I'll be driving to see the completion of the Bakuli Nankulabe Kasubi Road with the Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, Jennifer Musisi. You're watching Morning at NTV.
For that, so that particular road, the Bakuli Nakalubye, Nakalabye Road will be launched today. So Flavia will be keeping us posted on that. And like she said, in case you have any questions for the Executive Director of KCCA, Dr. Musisi, keep that coming. She will ask her. She will be with her on that. But back to the budget review countdown. And today we'll be talking about the health ministry. And just before we went to Flavia, we were talking about 74% of the 1.8 trillion shillings that was allocated to the health ministry for this financial year that is coming to an end was actually put for salaries. And just the other day...
It is actually 80% now. Last year was 74%.
Yes, and now it's going to be 80% for the coming financial year.
Yes.
And last week we were airing a story whereby the health ministry is actually in the progress whereby they want to put biometric gadgets where health workers, swipe in when they come into work and swipe out when they come into work. And the health ministry was actually saying that this will help them deal with the issue of absenteeism at work. Do you think this will work? Because we were having many mixed reactions from the public health workers.
Well, what really we want to focus on is efficiency.
Yes.
And effectiveness of our interventions. When we talk about efficiency, we are not just talking about resources. We are talking about hours lost. If I'm a civil servant, I'm supposed to report at 8 o'clock and I leave at 5. Then another person comes at 5 because for us, the services, we give her 24 hours. We don't close, for example, facilities. Although some facilities actually close, like on a weekend, you find they are not working. So that alone, if we quantify how much government is losing in hours lost, it is a lot. It is actually more than the money we are putting in. So we want to, because initially our workers would just register in books, but then we realized that this was not working. People would just register in advance and leave. And so we want to tag, it's not just biometric. We want to tag the presence and the output. Because I can come, we call it presentism. I can come and sit and just go on WhatsApp and Facebook, and I'm in the facility. I'm in the facility. I'm seated, but I'm on my phone. I'm chatting. and I'm not doing actual work. So that is still not efficiency. So what we want to do is, if resources are allowed, because we tested this in some facilities. When I was still in HMU, we tried in Iganga, we tried in Naguru, we tried in 4 hospitals. We found that actually where we put the biometric clock in, and the administrators stuck to it and make sure that they monitor the attendance, the productivity was amazing.
It increased.
It was amazing. Just that small intervention without even doing anything else.
Yes.
But now that is not enough, because so we want to see, if I come, I'm a worker, even in the ministry, we are doing it. We clock in, and then at the end of the month, we need to see, okay, you've been around. What have you done? It's not enough just to say, I clocked in. What if I clocked in and I came and I sat on my computer and at the end of the day I walked out? Is that productivity?
Yes.
No. So we want really to match attendance to duty,
to effectivity,
to the output, what we have been able to do. That is what we call efficiency.
And when do you think this will be rolled out in all
we
the
have started.
institutions?
We have started the regional referrals now, all of them. We have now put biometric system, but we want to roll it out. For example, we've been working with the Office of the Prime Minister, and they have really helped us to follow up to make sure that in 20 districts recently that we were reviewing the output. It has greatly improved the attendance. But we need still to go further than that and make sure that when people clock in, they actually work. So
do you think this is a project that will be done by the end of this coming financial year?
I'm not sure. It will depend on the funds available. But this is our wish, and this is really what we want to see, that we roll out slowly by slowly until we will cover the whole country. But also we put a mechanism of getting targets, evaluating performance management. Performance management, so that if I come to office at the end of the month, I should be able to show what I have done. If I'm a doctor, I'm supposed to operate, I should be able to show the number of patients I've operated on. If I'm a midwife, how many deliveries I've done, how many procedures I have done. If I am, for example, a leader, like in myself, or even at the Ministry of Health, what have I done at the end of the year? So that is one area. The other area we want also to strengthen is to do the things that are in line with our goals, to set smart goals, smart objectives, so that really when we are doing whatever, you can be all over the place and at the end of the day you do nothing. I have seen we are always all over the place in workshops, in what, and so you find that really at the end of the day we can't quantify the work, yet people have been busy. So we want really to streamline the performance so that we do the things that are in line with our core objectives, and those objectives must be in line with our sector strategic objectives, and those strategic objectives must be in line with our national development and strategic plans, and those strategic plans must be in line with our vision, so that really we are able to achieve
So all that is work in progress.
Yes.
The government is actually, the Ministry of Health is in the process of boosting the salaries of the health workers. What parameters are you using to ensure, now that already we have a challenge when it comes to ensuring that the public health officers work and are efficient at their duty posts? What parameters are you using to boost the salaries, individual by individual?
No, but of course, as per the payment, definitely there has been enhancement starting with July. But you see, salary alone, it has never been a motivator. Salary, if we just talk about what really motivates workers.
Is it for the health sector? Because what I know for the other sectors, salary is the key motivator. For us, for example, in the media,
no,
and
it is not always so. It is just a small component.
Okay.
We must have a process of rewarding. For example, if I work, if I'm always on duty, if I work, I have results, what is there apart from salary? Because even the other person who never works,
so incentives,
is also getting, he's getting the same salary as me.
Yes.
So what mechanism is there to motivate the workers that do their work diligently?
And what's your strategy when it comes to that?
Now, we want to establish a reward. You know, in public service we have reward and sanctions committees, but somehow we never feel their work. So we want really to see a mechanism of rewarding the best performance.
So rewarding
but
in what terms?
But also sanction, real sanction people who do not work.
Yes.
Because there is this disease of vagueness in our sanctions. Our sanctions are always vague, you know, you can't, if you don't work, your salary is cut, period.
Yes.
If you work, you must be rewarded for your work.
You must be rewarded. So what are the strategies for rewarding these people? Is it monetary incentives? Is it the boosting of the working environment?
I wouldn't want to say that I have
the
this
specifics.
Is what we are going.
Yes.
But we, of course, in the circumstance, because from in the Ministry of Health, I have my own mechanism. But also in the regional referral hospital, the districts, in the facilities, each one, each manager, each leader, a DHO should be able to fish out the best performers, and they are acknowledged, and they are promoted, and they are pampered, so that really other people see that when you do good work, you are rewarded.
Okay.
When you do wrong things, there should be no protectionism. People must be sanctioned. I
totally hear you. And let's go back to the issue of drug stockouts, because it was a major issue that came out when we had the budget review for 2016-2017 that then informed the current budget that is coming to an end for 1.8 trillion shillings to the health ministry. When it comes to drug stockouts, what strategies are you putting in place to ensure that in the coming financial year then we do not have the same issue?
Now, the drug stockhouse, first of all, has two angles.
Correct.
The first angle is that we acknowledge that we still have a huge disease burden in the country.
Yes.
Malaria, HIV, diarrhea, all the sorts of things. 75% of the diseases can be prevented, but we are not. The public is still not taking responsibility of their lives.
And do you think it's an issue of lack of awareness? Like the Ministry of Health needs to do more in sensitizing the public?
Now, this is #1 strategy of the Ministry of Health. We are going to strengthen public health strategies to make sure that people know exactly what to do. That is #1.
Yes.
#2, so we still have the disease burden, and because of that, we still have huge number of patients falling sick and coming to the facilities. And then the number of people who are sick are not matching the medicines that are available. Government over time, over years, has been increasing the budget. Even this financial year, this coming financial year, government has added extra 41 billion on the medicines. But still, it is not enough.
It is not enough.
Now, when it's not enough, there is also another angle that even what is put in our facilities, we do not have very strong accountability mechanism.
I totally agree with you, because last week we were running a story where some people were actually apprehended by police for theft of drugs. And still, I think part of your strategy is it ensuring that every single patient that comes to the public health institution you know, submits an ID for them to be given drugs. Is that part of the strategy to ensure that we don't have drug stockout issues?
We are still discussing all this.
Okay.
We really want to strengthen information systems in our facilities. And once we strengthen that information system, it will be able to tell us, if I brought 2,000 doses of malaria and I gave you at the facility, and then at the end you submit 600 malaria cases, I should have 1,400 doses in the store.
So you're coming to a point of trying to put in strategies. Yes.
Yeah, if you can't show me, then there's a problem.
Yes. So accountability strategies are underway.
Exactly.
Dr. Ari, we are coming to a close, and I need your I need you to tell us, what are the key priorities in a nutshell as we come to close? What are the key priorities for the Ministry of Health in this coming financial year?
Our priorities, number one, is to strengthen primary health care processes.
Okay.
And here we are talking about immunization, health promotion, to make sure that the public knows about the diseases they can avoid. And thirdly is to, even when we still have not enough resources to buy all the drugs that we need, to strengthen that accountability for medicines that we've been given.
All right.
Number four is to also make sure that even the resources that we have in terms of finances, we improve the accountability.
Okay.
And we strengthen we tag whatever shilling that we invest here. It should be able to show us the results.
How it has gone and the results of that particular shilling. Thank you so much. We will be keeping in tabs with the Ministry of Health to see if you actually implement on all these particular strategies that you have in place. Okay. Thank you so much for that. And we'll still have this conversation going. The conversation keeps on, and the hashtag is Morning at NTV. But for now, I will hand you over to Flavia, who is interviewing the Executive Director of KCCA, Jennifer Musisi. Flavia, take it away.
But as I
Flavia, if you can hear me, I think we seem to lose Flavia. But what's happening right now and what's going to take place today is KCCA will actually launch a new road. And this is the Bakuli It's Nankulabia. That's why it gives me a lot of challenges. Nankulabia Road, and that will be underway today. But she has Jennifer Musisi with her, and she'll be indulging her on conversations that you've been feeling that needs to be addressed. And we are talking about the vendors being mishandled by KCCA workers. We're talking about the drainage issues on the roads. We're talking about all these things, and even waste management in our city. So I have Flavia on standby. Flavia, can you hear me?
Church.
Yes, it's Morning at NTV. We've already started our conversation. You know, you can't help but, you know, when you have her, and I'm not sure how long I have the ED, so I already started my conversation. But the hashtag is Morning at NTV, and I'll be able to access some of your questions and comments to the Executive Director. But yes, I'm in the car heading to Bakuli, Nankulabe, Kasubi.
Yes.
Yeah, that project is done. But so far right now,
Makere.
We're going through Makere. So where we are now is Fairway.
Yes,
the Fairway lights, and I know we're able to access a camera elsewhere, so they can show you just the project better than you can access in a car. We'll be going through Makere, because I actually know Makere University, that entrance, that
and inside, we've done all the roads inside.
And the roads inside.
The roads, the junctions, the lights.
The lights, yes.
We've renovated, we're now renovating their hospital. We've done the college school administrative building. We demolished the old building to make way for the road expansion, but we built them a really nice 3-story facility.
Inside
the college school.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with that when you're walking right in.
Yeah.
And I was asking earlier that when you drive into Macquarie University, you pay entrance fees into the premises.
You do? Okay.
But that's not your mandate.
No.
All you did was,
I wish it was.
You say we need more funding.
I need more money.
To the question of funding
Maybe Macquarie should be giving me some of that money for doing such a great job with their roads.
Yeah, it is a great job.
Yeah.
And before we get in there, I was just reading here. By the way, this is
Fairway.
Yeah. Oh, this is Fairway.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's Fairway.
I think this is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So we can actually see.
This is where we are, like over there.
Yes.
No.
We're heading here actually.
Well, yeah, we're over on the main road.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're saying 7 years of selflessly delivering the promise.
Yes.
And when you're done 6 years, going into the new tenure, they asked you to rate yourself from 0 to 10, and you said 6.5 out of 10.
Yes.
Which is not so bad because we've seen, your work. We see the challenges, we see the success, and I think some things we don't see.
Definitely.
Some of the battles we don't see, we don't have access to, and some of the wins we don't see.
Yeah.
But 7 years later, you're calling it selflessly, which for me sounds like you've put in so much energy, so many long hours, so many battles.
Yeah.
Are you still at a 6.5 out of 10?
Maybe 7.
Oh,
maybe 7. Because there are so many other factors that are not within my control.
Okay.
I wish I was at 10 or actually 12.
What would it take for you to get there?
Number one, I need money. I need money. It's not because we don't know what needs to be done.
Okay.
But infrastructure, schools, roads, hospitals, lighting, fixing potholes, greening the city, the sewage, the things that you don't see, like fecal sludge management, where people have we have to empty toilets, we have to teach communities the sensitization. All those things take money, and we don't have enough of it. The other thing I need is for everybody in the processes or in the policy making to come on board and understand that this is the capital city. We don't have another capital city. I mean, we like other capitals when we visit, but we don't have another capital city. This is it.
Actually, 70% of the GDP we provide.
Yes, this is
just
without Kampala, the economy of Uganda cannot work. We're almost 68% of the GDP. Everything happens in Kampala, or the government facilities are in Kampala, or the major universities are in Kampala, all the businesses, the foreign investment companies, the financial sector, everything is in Kampala.
Yeah.
So it is important for us as a country to focus on Kampala. In by whatever means, whether it's in attitude, whether it's in funding, whether it's making policies, whether it's supporting what we do. Everybody needs to come on board. But many times I get the feeling, even leaders who you'd think you would know better, leaders are saying, oh, Jennifer, we are helping you, and we're talking positively about the city. Or we are helping you, and we're going to give you this much money. And I'm thinking, you're helping me? You're helping yourself, you're helping your children, you're helping the generations to come, you're helping this country. So I am doing it because I love this country, because I want a future for my children and other people's children.
To have access to the city.
Yeah, and I want investors to come into the city, invest in Uganda. I want us to be proud of the city. For many years, we were very embarrassed by Kampala, and you'd sort of drive around, away from the main city, the main part of the city, because of the way that it was in.
We're right now stuck in traffic, and this is still on Fairway, and this brings me to congestion.
Yusuf Lule.
Yusuf Lule. You did quite well with naming these roads, because before they say, when you go by the thing there, then you
by the border stage, by the garbage heap.
Then go up. Then you don't know where up is and what it is. But I think now pretty much all parts are named. Is there any?
No, there are parts that we haven't named yet. Yes, the project is still ongoing. We're looking for additional funding. We did most of the major roads, most of the major roads in the different divisions, but there are still more that need to be done. There are also disputes. People want the road named after
them.
Yeah, Flavia.
The Mugaga
Road.
Wecharo.
The Mugaga Wecharo, Munene Wafe, and the villagers are saying no. So in order to agree on a name, most of the time we have to resort to the communities.
About that. Some roads we have always known are called this and this.
Like Bakuli Road.
But we've thought about that one.
Bakuli, yeah.
To Bakuli.
It's Bakli, yes.
It's actually Bakli.
Yes, Bakli. It's an English name. Bakli.
Why did you end up with Bakuli?
Baganda, Bakuli, Bakli, know. But the official name is Bakli.
Some were originally named. Others you ended up naming?
Yes, others acquired names. So by what is there.
How do you narrow down to calling this road this? Is it the community?
The community will tell us.
This is what
yes, but we also have a lot of these roads in the maps that we have as a capital city, in the documentation we have on the land titling system under the Ministry of Lands, the plans that have been approved. But as I said, there are some roads which are nameless, but there are also roads that are disputed. There are 3 prominent people there who want the road named after them.
But
so if you want a name,
criteria? Is it, do I get to choose what you call the road name?
Now, what we're doing, if you want your road named, if you want a road named by a certain family or important event, you write to KCCA through your division. Then that goes through the process of the division approval. The councillors and the division team approves, evaluates, approves, and then recommends. This recommends upwards to the authority. But we've also got consultancy support, unpaid consultancy, say from the Buganda Land Board, because we want to capture the history of the roads as well. Why was it called this and not that? And you find that, for example, in Rubaga area, there are a lot of roads that were named based on Buganda events or Buganda prominent people in the past.
We also have Akibua Road, things like
so we are collecting that data as well.
Yeah.
If you go to Chibuli, you'll find names of people that were prominent in the Muslim faith. So we are doing that as well. So at the end of the day, we'll come out with a handbook, not only showing the roads in the city, but also showing the history behind those names, which is a good thing.
It is definitely a good thing. I think where we are now is Makere Hill Road is what we are approaching.
Yes.
But just to have, I don't want us to miss anything, so if we could just correct the belt to your mic. Yes, great. So now we're heading to, look at that beauty. That's Makere Hill Road leading to Makere University. The lights are there, and I'm seeing solar panels. These lights. Is this your way to heading to sustainability?
Yes.
With the environment?
Yes, every new road we're doing, we're putting solar lights. Where you see electrical lights, those are roads that had electricity before. So we are maintaining those, but for the new roads, we are putting solar light for purposes of sustainability, for purposes of cost effectiveness. We've so far installed over 1,000. We're going to have 1,290 about plus lights in solar all over the city. Although we still have a very big number of other lights, which are about 1,500, the electrical ones. But for the new roads, we are putting solar for sustainability.
Panels. And you said as cost effective.
And sustainability.
Okay, so we're heading into Makere University itself. So this road is widened, and actually that's one of the things we've been working on, to widen certain roads, because even congestion is brought about by some of these, very narrow roads, and you can't have access. So this project, was it because Makere is Makere? No. When
we're widening the road, the Makere Hill Road, into a 4-lane instead of a 2-lane, we needed land to widen the road.
For the extra 2 lanes coming into the university, I guess.
No, the whole stretch.
The whole stretch,
from Wandegeya to Nakulabi, as you'll see. So we came to Makere University and measured out what land we needed to take from them. We got valuation done by the chief government valuer, presented to Makere. It came to a lot of money, which we didn't have
to compensate the university.
Like physical cash compensation. But when we discussed with the Makere, we said, why don't we do like a barter trade.
Yes.
Why don't we
Like a swap of
a
sorts.
swap?
Yes.
Instead of giving you cash, which can be because of the university's needs, perhaps used for other things, why don't we actually do, as part of the project,
Yes.
your infrastructure? So that's what we agreed.
Which is key.
Yes, so the roads were terrible in Makerere. There was no lighting, there were no walkways. So as you can see, we've done all these roads. We've done more than 10 kilometers. I'll need to get the correct number. But you see, we've done all these roads. We've done the walkways, we've done the drainages, we've done some greening in the islands. We've put the lights back. So the students are safe to walk. They use the pavements for jogging, for walking and safety. You can see they are raised. The roads are nice. And we're asking Makerere, can you please maintain them?
Yes.
And maintain the lights as well. So it was a very, very good partnership, because instead of paying money, we did the roads.
They
yes.
also get a development.
Yes.
In return, you also get access
to a wider road for the public. We've also done the, we're renovating the hospital, the university hospital.
Okay.
And we have pushed back the gate because we needed more space, and also for mobility, traffic flow. We have done the Makerere University gate, which is now a much, it's still work in progress. It's going to be really nice, really artsy. The designs came from Makerere. We are also, because of the same project, had to take land from college school. So they had an old administrative building, which we broke down, single level, and built them that really nice 3-level administrative building as compensation for the land that we took from them.
So this is all still in the compensation swap? Okay.
Yes. So it was really a swap, which is a good thing. To encourage even other institutions.
Yes, I was about to ask if there's any other project you've done where, instead of, as you said, there's disputes on land, sometimes compensation is a problem.
Yeah.
Is there any other project where you've had such partnerships where people have said, you know what, if you're going to do something
the great thing is that over time people have become more and more willing to partner with KCCA on this project.
Why is that? Do you think they're seeing
the benefits?
They're seeing the benefits.
Everywhere we do a road, look at Bwaise, Kawempe, those areas that were originally slum, low-income areas. When we did the roads with the solar lighting, the values went up, the security improved, the businesses went up, they are building nice facilities, nice buildings there. Look at the Bunamwaya. For example, we're going to do Bunamwaya Reza Kabusu. When we do the road, the value immediately goes up. So people are seeing the value and allowing us to take their land. If we demolish your wall, we'll rebuild it as part of the project. But we will not give you cash. But if we're taking a big chunk of your land, then the valuations will come out and then we'll pay you if it's a substantial chunk of land.
Yes.
But for walls and fences, we are replacing them as we go. Yeah.
You've spoken about what here on the show we like to call a muntu wa wansi. Let me tell you, we had a conversation about KCCA, I think about a week and a half ago. And safe to say, the biggest conversations were around waste management. They said there's just so much dirt, there's bad drainage, there's waste. And then two, they said there's something to do with revenue collections, because I know that under the KC Act you can levy certain fees and taxes from people. And I was looking at the list of fees and taxes you're supposed to collect, and there are plenty. And I'm thinking, if I'm a business owner, I might be paying 5 of those as one business.
Probably not. I think you're mixing URA and KCCA taxes.
So which ones are your fees and
If you're a
licenses?
property owner,
Rent?
you pay.
Property
You don't
tax?
pay me. You don't pay me rent.
But I'm sorry, the property tax?
Property tax.
Yes, it's to you.
Is to me, and then a business license.
Business license?
That's to me.
Garbage?
Garbage collection you don't have to be a business. Anybody in the city by law is supposed to take care of their own garbage.
And you're going to define to us if a private company is coming to me to collect my garbage, and then KCC if they're one in the same. Are they?
The private company is helping you do what the law mandates you to do.
Okay.
Flavia, you're supposed to get your garbage.
Do I still pay KCC?
No.
Okay.
You're paying the collector.
Yes.
By law, you're supposed to get your garbage from your house, take it to the landfill in Chitezi every day or every other day. So the collector
As
is
it
helping
collects,
you do.
our cameraman didn't know
Yes.
that. So
So the collector is helping you do that.
Yes.
Save you the journey, save you the hassle.
yes,
By law, everybody is responsible for their garbage.
their own garbage.
Yes,
So
whether
the
you're
private
renting,
investors are
whether
saying,
it's
let's come in, do bins or whatever
Yes,
companies,
yes.
and do it for you.
Yes.
So then that fees or tax is not collected. So
it's
property-
not ours.
and also
We just
property tax.
regulate it.
Okay.
The
So
property tax is what every citizen pays for the services we do in the city, the roads, the lighting,
Okay.
the maintenance, the lighting bills and all that.
Yes.
That is what you pay as the business
Property,
owner.
okay.
And property owner.
Yes.
And in every country in the world, every city in the
exists.
world, it exists.
Yes.
You make a contribution to the services that you get as a city. So that is where the property tax goes. So it's separate from the garbage tax.
Yes.
It's not even a garbage tax, it's a collection fee. If you want to carry your own garbage, let us know. Get
Okay,
your
so 'cause I
car
was
and
about
take
to
your
ask you
garbage.
then, yes.
Yes.
So that's where you can get.
You get a license for me to carry your garbage to Kitezi.
Otherwise, we should just be doing it ourselves.
Yes, yes. And that's why we arrest you if you dump it on the road or dump it in the
Yes,
drainages.
yes,
But
What about
also,
operating? And I know we're not supposed to operate on the streets. What do we call vendors?
Yes.
They're not supposed to be operating on the streets
by law.
by law.
Yes.
So it's not that Jennifer Musia.
No. It's by law, and I didn't make the laws. I'm just implementing them.
Help me understand the law. There's no business supposed to operate on the street. No form of business.
You must have license from KCCA.
Great. So who would you offer a license?
For example, look at the telecom companies.
Who have the agents?
The nice kiosks.
Agents on the road. Yes.
Nice kiosks. We license them. These kiosks are regulated, they are specified, they are known.
So Edie, if I go to my kiosk of my tomatoes, would you give me a license to operate on
I would need to look at other factors. For example, if you're selling tomatoes and you're selling them in front of a supermarket selling tomatoes, which is giving me license
So
fees.
competition factors.
Yeah, it also matters. Because if you're selling the same goods on the street, the business owner behind you is paying me a license, trade license.
With higher
With higher fee, he's paying me, the property owner is paying me property tax. So we have to protect them in a sense. But also, are we supposed to get out here? Seems like.
We'll check in just a bit, but you
Okay.
can probably help
Yeah.
continue
So
that.
the other thing is protecting your lives and your health. A lot of the things that people buy on the street are not regulated, not checked, not contaminated. One time we discovered that, say, a lot of the fresh fruit that you find on the street, like Lumu Street or along Nachivubo Channel, at night they put it in wooden crates or plastic crates and put it in the Nachivubo Channel water to keep it fresh. They call it the fridge.
No.
Oh yes. So in the morning they get their crates out and put these nice rosy looking fruit and vegetables
Mangoes,
and
watermelons.
mangoes. You know, they look so succulent and great. So
I'll tell
yeah,
you.
so you
buy
buy
those
them.
mangoes off.
Thank you. So we found that many of them keep them in the channel. Others are sprayed with formalin to keep fresh.
Had that discussion on
Yes.
formalin.
So because we regulate the supermarkets and the markets to a good extent, we are fairly sure
Of their produce.
of their produce. But these others, we are not sure. So for all sorts of reasons, hygiene, but also ambience. Which city have you gone into where people are selling pineapples and shoes and
On the
clothes on the
streets.
street? That's why we build markets. And a lot of these people on the
Let's
streets
discuss that.
also
Why are
go
people
into.
not open to these markets that you're putting up for them? Is it like you didn't have a conversation with them for them to understand? Because you
Like
talked about
which one?
sensitization in the beginning, and you said that we're also supposed to sensitize people on every single development I think you are doing, so that people understand
Yeah.
what is this for? Is it going to benefit me, and how is it going to benefit me? And I was having
Yeah.
a conversation with Kalumba who said that the petty reasons people give you, like why does this market have so many flaws? And you're thinking, why is your concern flaws
Yeah.
in a market?
Yeah.
Upstairs, downstairs. Just
Yeah.
find your space and sell your market. Have you found maybe perhaps in your after you implement perhaps some review that maybe people in the markets now, is it more organized? Are they having more clients? Do they feel they are making more money on the streets? Have you done that sort of review?
We've done the review. First of all, we have the numbers in the market. They are people.
Yes.
The only problem is as long as they are street vendors on the streets,
It hurts the business?
it hurts the business because people will leave their merchandise in the market and use it as a store and take their goods on the street.
The same people
Yes.
in the markets?
Yes. The same people. We also found out that a lot of the goods on the street are owned by shop owners.
Okay.
Because the competition is such that if I'm closer to the client, then I'll sell more.
Because if I'm finding the same pair of jeans on the road, why am I coming into the shop?
Thank you. Yeah. So I'll give some of my jeans to a vendor to go and sing on the street and sell them, and keep others in the shop for when people come into the shop. So some of these shopkeepers have multiple vendors selling their goods. But there are also people who import container loads of goods.
Yes.
And their whole supply chain is vendors. Yeah, so they are not paying rent, they are not paying property tax, they are not paying umeme, they are not paying for water, they are not paying for waste collection. The vendors dump all sorts of garbage on the streets. It's not their problem. Once they're done, they are gone. So, you know, that kind of kavuyo, disorganization.
Is there eventually an answer to this? Eventually taking all street vendors, because you can't tell me it's building markets, because you can build as many of them.
It has many facets, Flavia. It's a social, economic, and political issue. And all those have to be aligned before we can get a solution. Number one, even if we've built markets, we bought land for markets, we're waiting for money to actually construct them. Every division has land for markets, other than Gwande, Geya, Usafi, which also needs to be built, Bosega, which is partially built again because of funding. Hopefully we'll get some more money this year to complete it, and so on. But as long as we will build these markets, even if we built all of them in all the divisions, we may not completely get rid of people coming in, because people come from the villages, they come from even outside Uganda. We have Congolese, we have refugees who come into the country, they are vending on the streets. We have Eritreans, we have Ethiopians, we have Chinese now, and Indians, you know. We have all sorts of foreigners now coming into the city, and it seems the regulation there needs to be looked at. But we also have a lot of people selling their property, like their land in the village, because it's not productive or they don't have the money to invest in it, and coming to the city to rent a store or buy a few items and start vending on the street. So as long as the economic path of where they are coming from is not fitted to encourage them to stay, they'll still come into Kampala. And it's a common problem, rural-urban migration in all cities. Only that it gets worse depending on the economic situations and the social services available to people elsewhere. Yeah.
So we're going on Twitter. The hashtag is Morning at NTV. We have Doris Chimuli, who's saying that, especially on garbage disposal, that is there a way that KCCA could mandate village councils, the villagers, and you know, the leaders to ensure that they clean the pavements around the roads and around their buildings? And because this is a shame on how dirty these new roads that you have are. But you also have people who I come to work in the morning at 5 a.m. and I find people sweeping and cleaning the city. There's also been a question on why, and this is something we've talked about on the show before, there are reflectors that maybe don't light enough. I don't know if it's the reflectors or the fact that we don't have lights on some streets, but also that, you know, they could be in danger. You know, you're sweeping around at 5 a.m. and someone is just, you know, they see you at the end, and before you know it, your life is gone. So perhaps just on those two, the fact that maybe people around the cities can act, the roads, the new roads, and are we in charge of also cleaning it outside of these people?
We should be, the cleaners should be supplementary. They should be supplementary to our responsibility as good citizens. And as I said, the solution to Kampala cannot be 100% KCCA. KCCA does its part as the regulator and facilitator, but the people need to realize this is their city. It's not Mosisi's city, you know. So they have to realize that they are responsible. Yesterday, I saw some idiot in a really nice car throwing used serviettes out of his car at the traffic lights. And I'm thinking, how do you get these kinds of people even in cars?
Because we are thinking it's the people downtown who are doing these things.
No, in a really nice swanky car doing that. So how do you justify that? You get a person in a really nice residence, they don't care where their house help dumps the garbage. They generate garbage. The house help is supposed to take it over on her back or something. They go and dump it in a corner in the drainage. And they don't even care to know how their garbage is disposed. So we have a responsibility. Number 2, you elected councillors in all the different parts of the city. It's part of their work to mobilize communities to clean, to look after these facilities, to tell them about the projects we are doing, to mobilize them to work and to take advantage of all these things that we're doing in the city. That is the work of elected leaders, to lead people to good things.
Yes.
And
so if the road is here and the pavement,
the councillor should be the first one to mobilize people to clean. The councillors, the mayors, the LCs, but even yourselves, you know, as Ugandans, organize your street in your village to clean on a Saturday.
Eventually, if like the man you're talking about, I throw something out. Now you said around Fairway, right? That in traffic.
Yeah,
there are lights.
Yeah.
Are there cameras on this?
Yes, and we've sometimes put them out on the wall of shame, on our media, because you're thinking, and when our people see them, they arrest them.
Okay, so these cameras are not they're in real time.
Yeah.
But it's not a monitoring where you can see and
you can actually So but more so for traffic regulation.
Okay, so the CCTV cameras are not really for me who's throwing papers out.
Yes,
of my
because
car.
You probably throw the paper all along the way. Every time you eat takeaway, you throw the packet out or the bottle you.
Yes, so we are right in front of Makerere University. The ED and I are going to walk out. Perhaps we can see the real beauty of this area.
All right.
And appreciate. And I can see you talked about green. There's some beautification. Perhaps we can talk while there. But yes, the hashtag is still morning at NTV, so we can access some of your questions.
You want to just briefly get out?
Yeah.
We have Flavia, who is in communication with the Executive Director of KCCA, Madam Jennifer Musisi, and some of the top issues that they were talking about with regards to KCCA's mandate in Kampala City are matters to do with solid waste management. And right now, like you can see on your screens, they are in Makerere University. Makerere University is a key area, key institution when it comes to its relationship with KCCA, and right now they're working towards the Makerere University's gate. And actually, just to let you know, the partnership between KCCA and Makerere University got the university to get, so to speak, a new face in terms of the infrastructure inside Makerere. If you go to Makerere right now, you will appreciate the beauty that there is, the beauty that that place actually beholds. And right now, Flavia is taking a walk with Jennifer Musisi just to inspect Makerere University, just to see the progress KCCA has made. And I'll hand you over to Flavia.
So don't I as a citizen pay a certain amount of money to get
It's not enough. Other citizens do it in other countries. No one pays them. They clean.
I want you to explain this to me. I know. This is it's a shame.
Look,
that's another city. That's a shame.
This is the university. Look.
I want Madame Jennifer to explain this to me.
Okay, now.
I was in Brussels and I noticed that at the point of crossing, something happened here. So for Amananchi, come, we need to know what this is.
Okay, you want to cross.
So?
Now, so it's saying wait.
Because it's red.
Yes, it's red. So I have to wait. And then when the man there is green, then I can cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if so this, because it's good for even the young ones.
My reflector.
A reflector for the ED. So if I come here and I need to cross, in case I'm not sure about the signals, it's best to press here.
Yes.
So for our young students, you know, who are going to cross, are people aware that this exists?
They are, and right here, Flavia, if you look, there's this one for the disabled persons. Yeah. So if you touch it, it's rotating.
Yes.
So that means he can cross.
Right.
So this is to provide for people with disabilities. This ramp here is also to provide for people for wheelchairs, so that they can just, like, get the wheelchair across. The little man is still saying green, wait, over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for us to walk.
Okay.
Oh, so this is because...
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is saying move really fast.
No, not for border. So,
Yeah.
so again,
Yeah.
just to know that there's inclusion for people with disabilities.
Yes.
A ramp,
Yeah.
those with wheelchairs.
Yes.
And if you want to cross,
Uh-huh.
then you said actually I felt it moves
Yeah.
around.
It rotates to tell you can now. Cross. Yes. Yes.
And this is on every traffic
Yes.
stop.
Yes.
Every traffic
Also, we have the cameras. You see up there?
Ah, yes, yes.
Yeah, those are the cameras. They are called intelligent lights. We're not talking about people's brains.
People's brains.
We're talking about intelligent lights. So those cameras are intelligent in the sense that they monitor the traffic flow.
Is it the same of these two?
Yes,
Right here,
yes,
yes.
They monitor the traffic flow. Now, depending on the volume of traffic, they can change the timing of the lights. For example, in
So
the
when
night.
we have this issue, when we have lights still working and a traffic police officer is standing there. Remember we had issues where we
Auntie.
were not nice to them and they got off the streets.
No,
and
but
we had
no.
problems.
The only thing I said is that they were intelligent lights. I think that's where we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
but,
said if they're so intelligent, let them do the job.
but I was talking about the lights.
Okay, so let me ask you, on any given day, if
Yeah.
we're to let these lights work with the intelligence you say they have, they will regulate
Do a
traffic
good job. Do a good job. But there are some junctions where we don't have lights yet. So the traffic police is there to make sure that the traffic flows even in those areas. But sometimes, even now, we still need police because of the Ugandans' minds who are not yet familiar with the lights. They still jump red lights. They still go on when the pedestrians are crossing, they still want to jump the red light and knock people. So we still need the police to sensitize them.
I'm being told we have about 10 minutes, so before we talk about the project where we're here, you need funding. Yes, you can. It's a project of funding. You said it's not enough. We are paying, but we're not paying enough. So, I know you have support partners, development partners.
But we are heading off now.
But where else can you get funding?
We're getting money from government of Uganda
Yes.
as well. Government of Uganda. We're also looking at PPPs. Public-private partnerships for big projects. That's why we got the credit ranking for KCCA. That would then enable us to borrow large sums of money to fund infrastructure development. Yeah, so that's a good thing as well.
I'm living in a city, say I have a business, I have some money. Am I able to then support KCCA even if it's for my part of the city?
Yes, like in renovation of schools. Yeah.
Okay, so let's...
Run to Nakulabia.
So yes, so renovation of schools is where
Yeah, partners come in to help.
Yes. Please.
As part of their CSR.
Yes.
Gardens, you could say I'm adopting this Makerere area and I'm going to look after the garden. But for the infrastructure projects, for example, this one, this phase that we're looking at, including Kira Road, Bukoto, Mambule Road in Bwaise, has cost us over 100 billion. So that's not money that many individuals have.
Can give you, yes.
Yeah, so we're looking at really the companies and corporations. Some are self-financing that can do that. So that's something that we're looking at going forward. So that in addition to government and loan financing, we can also do PPPs.
Are we not able to get to a point where the city can finance itself?
We can. We can if we can collect all the revenue that we can in certain aspects.
Okay.
But infrastructure anywhere in the world is mostly done by PPPs because it's a very expensive.
It's very expensive.
And there's cooperation mix in the sense that, there is a funding mix. For example, you can have a private partner doing the road, and then there's a road toll, like the Entebbe Express.
Yes.
So he's recovering his money over many years using the collections from the tolls
Yes.
and those kinds of arrangements.
There's so many businesses or workers that are not formal, there's no licensing, no paperwork. They're just existing and they're making money in the city.
Yes.
So obviously you can't collect on those. Yes. Are you working
But
towards
also
that?
the other thing is, like I said, everybody needs to speak the same voice as far as development Kampala and raising revenue is concerned. If the technical people, for example, because we have tax experts, we have infrastructure experts, we have PPP experts hired to do a job in KCCA, they come up with a proposal, say to increase financing. And then it goes to, say, the political leadership. And the political leadership says, no, you cannot collect that money. So that cuts off my funding.
Yes.
We're saying people should pay for their waste because that's part of their legal mandate.
Yes.
A political leader can say, don't pay.
Onyigiriza
abantu balonzi baffe. Let's collect trade licenses. There were times when politicians would encourage the public to beat up KCCA staff who are collecting revenue. Now, that means to protect my staff, I have to withdraw them. And when I withdraw them, the money will not be collected. But also you're raising a culture of non-compliance. Because people are looking at a lot of these leaders and saying, listening to them, and they can actually cause non-compliance or bad attitudes towards revenue collection. Or if they sort of make careless statements like KCCA is stealing the money, of course, most of the time without any evidence to it, people will not want to pay. So everybody has to be able to understand that what we are doing is for the good of
and hence
the capital
have one voice.
And have one voice.
You've talked about people saying manhandle the KCCA people collecting.
Yes. We've had people really injured. People have lost eyes, people have got cracked brains.
You're not blind on how some street vendors are arrested.
But what
picked up, as they call it.
What the public does not know is how violent many of these street vendors are. Because they are organized. They are organized. And they are told if KCCA people come, Mubakube.
Really?
Yes. Mubakube, and people throw notes around.
Because I've seen those women with mangoes, they run.
Yes.
And run so fast that even as the drivers, if you're not careful,
they'll run into the car. Yes. Unfortunately, but many times they do beat up our staff. That's why I've told you we've had many staff knifed, injured. There was a guy who lost his eye. There's one who was almost burnt. They doused him with petrol when he was trying to regulate.
Because he came to...
Yes, revenue collectors, enforcement people. So the public is defiant sometimes. And that's why I said we need to speak together as leaders on these projects, because otherwise, whose city is it? It's not... If you say don't collect the taxes or don't pay trade licenses or don't pay property tax, you're not injuring Musisi. I'm paying my property tax as Musisi, but you're injuring Kampala and the generations to come, because it's our city.
All right. So today you're going to, well, it's done.
Yes.
Bakuli Nankula Vikasubi road is completed. And the people who are going to benefit, I see this is a route that takes so many. Because, part of having smart cities is access. If they don't just put a road, the road should give us access to some services, hospitals, schools, and a whole lot. So is that where we are,
Yeah.
We've started, right?
Yeah.
So this is... Oh, I can actually see the solar panels. And
Yeah, this is being handed over now.
Just taken over? Solar should be a solution for most, because, as you said, it's cost effective.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can break down costs, will be great. So you must be proud of this project completion, because this is one of the signs that is showing.
Yeah, I'm proud of it, but it also leaves me with a big responsibility, in the sense I want to do more. I want Parliament to approve more funds for KCCA. I want government to do more in sourcing for financing for us in other ways.
Yeah.
I want the public to pay their taxes so that we can do more of this. Yeah.
All right. So we are time bad. We've got to say bye, but it's bye. But this conversation is online because she's obviously come here for a reason to launch this project. I can see the communities are quiet. I don't know if that means they're aware of what has happened. This is for the benefit of all of us. She's saying this city is not Jennifer Musisi's city. It is Kampala City for everyone in Kampala. And mind you, just told you, we have a big refugee influx into the country, which means at any given point, Kampala City belongs to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So being clean, please be clean, because not just for Jennifer Musisi, it's not just for
Pay your
ACS.
taxes.
Pay your taxes. She's told you funding is an issue. As much as the government is supposed to give funding, you have private partners as well, development partners.
Yeah.
She still needs more money. So if she's going to
And we're not going to steal the money.
Please don't steal the
no,
money.
No, we're not going to steal the money.
Be accountable.
We haven't stolen
Jennifer
any
Musisi.
money yet.
Be accountable.
we have fantastic audit reports
yes,
from
indeed. We need to
everywhere.
see where our money is going.
Your money is accounted for. We are not going to steal it, so please.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Yeah.
Lavia right there, who was having a discussion